Dave, can you tell us the latest update on the devastation here in Uxbridge?
Sure. I'm actually going to start with sort of what happened, how we got here, what we've been up to, and then sort of the latest and what we're hoping residents will learn from this, if that works.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug. So we all know a very significant weather event came through Uxbridge on Saturday, early afternoon. There's been a significant amount of devastation throughout the municipality. A lot of it was focused right here in downtown Uxbridge. It hit our museum quite hard, tore sections of the roof off the arena, down to hydro wires, and devastated a lot of single-family homes, multi-residential homes, and then businesses. So there's been a lot of devastation that we've been dealing with. We've had tremendous support from everyone involved, from Alexicon, Hydro One, and all of those different companies. Rogers, Bell, Telus are all assisting us here on the ground to make sure that we get the key things here. We need to make sure we have power, we have water, and we have communications. In the early hours of this, and even most of the way through yesterday, we didn't have communications, which was a real problem for us. Our residents were not able to contact their insurance companies. They weren't able to let us know that they needed support, and we've worked really hard to make sure that we've got communications back. Our fire department had probably more calls quicker than they've ever had before, and our team on a long weekend really stepped it up and gave us tremendous support for all of our residents. So that's sort of where we're at right now. And if you take a small drive, within a kilometer of this area, you'll see hundreds of people working to get life as normal as it can throughout the municipality. So again, hydro crews, cranes, we've got tree removal experts, and then we've got neighbors helping neighbors. We have people helping drag trees out to the boulevards to try and assist each other. We've got neighbors who are helping put shingles back on roofs and things like that. So all hands are on deck. Go ahead, Doug.
Tell me about what's the next. Obviously, hydro's out. Do you have an estimate time when hydro will be restored to Uxbridge?
So I spoke to the Minister of Energy, and I've spoken to members of both hydro companies, and they're hoping to have the majority of power up by the end of today. There will be pockets that will be out for an extended period of time. There's a lot of the infrastructure is gone, right? So a lot has to be recreated. So there's going to be a significant amount of work to get everyone back up. But we're trying to get the key areas back up and running, trying to get power to all of our nodes from a comms perspective to make sure that we've got good cell access. My phone's buzzing more now than it has for a long time, which means that we have better connectivity.
School obviously is back in session tomorrow for most of Ontario. Right now, are schools going to be open? Do you know tomorrow here?
So it's a little early. One of my last phone calls was with Carolyn Morton, who's she's the chair of the DDSB. They're making those decisions as we speak, and a lot of it has to do with whether or not there's power. If there's no power, there won't be school, and so we need to make sure that kids can get to school safely. We need to make sure that the school has power and comms and all the things they need to be safe. And my advice is, if there's power, turn on schools, but they have to make their own decisions.
I know it's early.
Yeah.
Estimate guess of damage cost.
I know what, I'll pass the fire chief for that. This is Chief Phil Alexander. He's been incredible. His team has been phenomenal. And actually all of our public works staff, everyone's been just awesome champions through this. So I'll pass it to Phil because all the specific questions we go to staff for.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we don't have a specific estimate at this time. It's too early for that. So I just encourage residents, including tenants, to make their insurance applications to their own insurance companies. That'll be the beginning of the process. And we have reached out to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to initiate a wider provincial response to the insurance estimates. I'd just like to say we're working very closely with our police partners at Durham Regional Police, with our partners at Durham Emergency Management and the province at the PEOC. And we're in constant communication with them and getting updates. So we just ask everyone to look out for their neighbor, to stay safe, to report emergencies as they find them, and to be cautious in their house so that they're not undertaking any unsafe practices while the hydro is out, like candles indoors or running a generator indoors or any kind of a field appliance inside.
Maybe another question for you as well. When should people call 911, and when do you don't want them calling 911 and just call the fire department if there's stuff they're concerned about?
So if you're in a life-threatening or a property-threatening emergency, phone 911. Nothing has changed. There's been no adjustment to the emergency response. If you're just looking for information, you can find information easily on our website and our social media accounts, either through ourselves or through the region. And there'll be constant, for utility updates, you can find them on the Hydro One and the Alexicon websites.
And for obviously hydro wires down, when do you should people stay? You want people to stay clear from them? Do you want people to report that right now?
Absolutely. Continue to report wires down. Both utilities are working very quickly to restore power to the area. It's been very impressive their response to our municipality. All the roads have been opened. They can be opened. They aren't involved with electrical utilities right now, and they're working on the rest of those situations now.
Has there been any reports of injuries, fatalities here in the town?
There have been none. No serious injuries and no fatalities.
Okay. And from Dave there, Dave, what does this say about town, the residents of Uxbridge? We see them coming together, helping neighbors throughout this pandemic, through this tragedy here in Uxbridge. What does this say about your residents?
Well, it's the reason, even on days like this, it's the reason I have the best job in the world. We have so many people that just really want to help. They want to assist. My phone's been buzzing, since this began, but especially now that we've got full connectivity back. And it's, store owners, pharmacy owners, people from inside the community and out who just want to help, want to assist, and want to make sure that we have the resources that we need. And then again, you just take a short walk through town and you'll see neighbors gathering together to assist. You need help lifting something, there's someone there. And then even last night, if you drove through town last night, barbecues were going as steaks were thawing. Neighbors were sharing food, trying to just support one another and get through this with a smile on our face wherever we can.
I know yesterday you were asking people to leave the residence, to go get out of their homes if they need to. How long do you think they will be out of their homes for?
It's hard to know. If you look behind us, there's some buildings that may not be able to be repaired and may have to be rebuilt. Time estimates, I don't have any time estimates on when things will be completely back to normal for everyone. But again, we're here to help where we can. We strongly encourage people to work through their insurance providers so that they can sort of get to the front of the line with contractors and everything else.
And I guess my last question is, if people want to donate money to help people to recover from this, how can they do so?
So it's too early from that respect, certainly from my office. That I expect that people like the Rotary Club or people like that will probably step up from a helping perspective. Right now, we, from a municipal perspective, we're focused on getting, public infrastructure up. We're worried about connectivity. We're worried about public safety. This is not going to be a short-term recovery. We're going to be here in the days, weeks, months to come until, and we'll be working on this until people have housing, until our infrastructure is back up and running, and then we'll support as we can from a building perspective to make sure that buildings flow quickly, that type of thing.
This obviously brings out people to come out and see the devastation. Obviously, there's a lot of danger around here right now. What's your message to the residents? Do you want them to stay clear of all this area?
So we have a lot of people working in the area with heavy equipment. People and heavy equipment don't mix. So if you're going to take a walk to see the work being done, it's better if you walk somewhere where there's less devastation. You're just going to slow down the recovery.
Can you tell us when the state of emergency will end here in Uxbridge?
An excellent question. I'll pass that off to our fire chief.
Thank you, Mayor Barton. So the state of emergency was declared so that our municipal control group can have greater agility in responding to the emergency, and it will remain in effect until we are fully able to return our normal operations to its regular service level. So it's undetermined right at this moment how long that will continue.
I'm here in Uxbridge where there's been significant physical damage. Glad to hear everyone's safe. I've been in constant contact with the mayor of Uxbridge, who's been doing a tremendous job in ensuring him through the last 48 hours that we're here with any resources and any support, and connecting him with anyone that can help out in the situation. And we'll continue. We're just going to go for a quick walk and survey all the damage.
Peter, what kind of support will the province provide Uxbridge?
Well, right now what we're providing is making sure that there's open lines of communication. Obviously Hydro One's been very active, and we've been involved in making sure that all the resources the province can bear are here for Uxbridge and of course Pickering as well, and of course all the province.
I know the mayor and fire chief spoke about submitting an application for disaster relief funding. I know there's a process through that. How likelihood could something like this be expedited given the circumstances here?
Well, we're going to do everything we can to support Uxbridge and Pickering, of course all of Durham and all of Ontario. We've been there before and will continue to be there. Right now, very much we're focused on making sure that the mayor has all the resources and support, and the lines of communication are open. This has hit the community very, very hard. I don't have to underemphasize that because it's very aware for everyone here that has been impacted.
Have you seen something like this before?
I've never seen anything like this before. This is happening on a long weekend, and we've seen the ice storm, which was pretty significant. That created quite a bit of damage, but in the middle of a long weekend in May, never seen anything like this.
Hey Jennifer, just tell me, first of all, you walked through, tell me your thoughts of the devastation here in Uxbridge.
Yeah, honestly, I feel a little sick to my stomach. It's horrible to see our community like this. You know, you hear about the storm, you hear about the damage, but when you walk through and you see people's lives just completely destroyed, all of their possessions and things just thrown about everywhere, and homes literally ripped apart, it's devastating is an understatement at this point.
Tell me, obviously, thank goodness, there was no injuries, nobody got hurt, no deaths. We walked through, you would at least think. If you did not were told that, you would think someone got hurt.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Like, how did somebody not get seriously injured? So I thank God, you know, that everyone was safe. But the destruction is, like I said, kind of unbelievable. It's going to be a long time for people. Some of these homes cannot be saved. The damage is too significant. So the fact that everyone was able to get out safely, I think, is the only thing we can be thankful for at this point.
Obviously, there's no estimate of damage cost. It's going to be in the millions for sure. Federal funding, would that be available to Uxbridge?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was already speaking with Minister Blair over the weekend and his team as soon as we heard of the damage, and they've been in close contact with Emergency Management Ontario. So we do have federal funding for disaster relief. The way that process works is once the municipality, I've spoken to the mayor as well, they're walking around establishing the damage, then working with the province, they'll let the federal government know the situation, and then if there's anything the province needs, we'll be there, and the municipality will be there. Prime Minister has also tweeted that we will be here to support the community. So funding is available. It just goes through the province makes that request to us, and we're ready to go as soon as they make it.
Where were you when this storm rolled through, and what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I was in Pickering, and it wasn't so bad where I live. And then when you see, I think the first image I got was Second Wedge, and I saw the roof completely ripped off. And that's when you realize how significant the damage was up here. And my first thought was just hoping everyone was okay, and then second thought was just how are we going to rebuild and get everybody's lives back to normal as quickly as possible.
This brings out the best of the community. Obviously, Uxbridge is a small, tight community. You saw them out there helping each other. What does that say about this community?
100%. I mean, this really shows what Uxbridge is all about. There's no question. People have pulled together. Even myself, I've received a ton of messages from members not only of this community but Pickering saying we want to help. How can we help? And honestly, at this point, we were just trying to tell them we have to get the power situation under control. But after that, I can't tell you the outpouring of support to want to help, to rebuild, help this community. I think that says everything. It's why I feel pretty lucky to represent the people that live here.
I talked to some people from Oshawa who came out here just to see this damage. What's your message to people who do not live here in Uxbridge? What's your message to them? Obviously, they want to come up and see this, but what do you want to say to them?
I think for right now, the township for sure is saying let the crews, first responders, do the emergency work. There's still a lot of debris on the road. There's still power lines down. There's still a lot of people without power. Let the community and the crews do that work. After that, we're going to need everyone's support. There's going to be a lot of cleanup, a lot of families and businesses that are going to need that support. So appreciate it, but let crews do the emergency work first, and then let's all come together and help this community out.
I want to thank the mayor and finance minister for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, when I first drove through, I'll tell you, this is a close-knit community. I guess everyone must own a chainsaw because everyone it was cut, stacked, ready to go. I also want to thank all the utility workers right across Ontario. They've been fabulous. They've been working around the clock. I've been in touch with the CEO of Hydro One numerous times. Been messaging all day, in touch with the other utility CEOs, especially out in Ottawa. That's been hardest hit. They had 4 transmission lines go down, 800 poles. I understand that Toronto Hydro is sending a convoy over to Ottawa tomorrow once they get that cleaned up. But this is about everyone pulling together and neighbors pulling together and helping out.
The regional police have been amazing.
Yeah,
They've been so great.
the police,
and the nurses,
firefighters,
and the
nurses,
hospital, the
and
nurses.
Carrie's a nurse, and thank Carrie, all the nurses out there.
This level of damage. I mean, is it worse?
Yeah, it's really it's shocking
It's
to see what it is. How it takes one building out, and the other building's fine, and all these cars have been damaged. Young lad had bought a brand new car, and now it just got wiped out. But I'm sure we're going to be on top of the insurance companies. I know.
What about emergency funding?
Well, we're going to be there through municipal affairs. I spoke to all the ministers yesterday, continue to communicate today with them. We'll be there to support any community right across the province. This is once in a lifetime storm like this that came through Ontario, but it's really widespread. Hydro One has the helicopters up out in the eastern region of Ontario as well. It's all hands on deck right now, and we're going to get this cleaned up and get people back on their feet.
Things that you can do as Premier to try and speed up the process and try and get the power on here faster?
Well, what we're doing is I'm in full communication, and I have all the confidence in the world in the teams out there, the utility workers. They've been called back, obviously, from the long weekend. They've all come back, and we're just making sure that we're pulling other people, Hydro One workers from one part of the province over the hardest hit areas. So they're setting their priorities. They were able to get 360,000 homes up and running as of yesterday. They still have a couple 100,000 left that's for Hydro One. And I just appreciate Toronto Hydro and the rest.
Tell me about your
Premier Ford.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry. We have the CEO from Lexicon.
How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to thank all the women and men out there working so hard.
They
They're
are
champions.
doing a fantastic job. We feel so badly for the people of Uxbridge, but we're doing everything possible to energize them. We'll get the east side back up, we're hoping by tomorrow.
Great.
The west side, it'll take a little bit longer. We're working in collaboration with Hydro One as well because it's their feeders, but the devastation's incredible, but we really do appreciate everybody's patience. It's awful it's always awful. It's worse on a long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
How much longer do you think? You said a little bit longer on the west end. How much longer do you think?
It's like the thing that nobody wants to hear, right? East side for sure tomorrow. We're hoping end of day. West side, it'll be a week. We'll get some of it back on, like piece by piece, but then as you get stuff back on, other things happen, right? And because of all of the tree devastation, I mean, Premier Ford, sorry, you've seen all of the devastation throughout Southern Ontario. It's really awful.
So
And the
Dave, does
mayor,
that mean
you have your
that-
pick?
I'll just jump in
Yeah,
really
Mayor.
quick. So we've received a full envelope of support. Everything from people I went to school with to the Premier called me. Obviously, CEO of Lexicon is here. We've received incredible support here in Uxbridge. There's a lot of work to do, but we have the right amount of people on the ground helping us, and then that's my staff from the municipality, our volunteer firefighters, Durham Police, paramedics. Everyone has been here when we needed them. And again, thanks for being here on the ground today. Your teams have been here for a long time, but thank you for coming up.
Dave, does
You
that
know-
mean the state of emergency will last the rest of the week if the hydro will not come on?
So I listen to my staff, and when my fire chief tells me I should be lifting it, I will. But we're going to make sure that we're well resourced to get through this emergency.
Did you take this opportunity to talk to the Premier about what help he can provide for you right now?
So what I can tell you is, before there was any cameras, I got a phone call, and it was the Premier saying, "What can I do to help?" And his team have been behind us 100%, including Minister Bethlen Falvey, who's behind me.
Premier, just